Now let us look at the profitability or the performance analysis. And as I mentioned to you, how to analyze the profitability. And profitability you can analyze from the perspective of sales, from the perspective of capital providers, from the perspective of asset utilization or the earning power of the assets, or from the overall perspective. So when I say overall perspective, that means you can calculate a number which is called as EVA, economic value added. Let us look at from the perspective of sales. So how to do the analysis from the perspective of sales, how to do the profitability analysis or performance analysis of a business from the perspective of sales. Now, if we have to analyze profitability of a business from the perspective of sales, friends, we will have to understand few things. And those few things are, number one, we will need to understand what is the gross profit. We will need to understand what is EBITDA. We will need to understand what is EBIT. We will need to understand what is EBT. We will need to understand what is EAT. And we will need to understand all these one by one. Now, how do we figure them out? So we will figure them out as you can see on your screen. So firstly, what we do for the purpose of analyzing a business's performance from the sales perspective is, first thing that you see is sales. It is also known as top line. And why it is known as top line? No rocket science. It is known as a top line because this is the figure which is appearing in the top of the statement, and that is the reason why sales is also known as top line. So from the sales, what we do? From the sales, what we do? We minus the material cost and the manufacturing expenses. And when we minus the material cost and the manufacturing expenses from the figure of revenue or from the figure of total revenue or the top line or the sales or the turnover, what we get in our hand is known as gross profit. Is known as gross profit. Now, in other words, what I am saying is material cost and the manufacturing expenses put together are also referred as COGS, cost of goods sold. So material cost and the manufacturing expenses put together are also referred as COGS, cost of goods sold. Now, really speaking, if you ask me, it is not cost of goods sold. It is cost of goods produced, COGP. But globally, this total of these two components, material cost and the manufacturing expenses, is referred as COGS. And therefore, let us understand it as a COGS only. Virtually, practically, it is COG, but it is cost of goods produced. Right. So from the sales, you minus the material cost and the manufacturing expenses. What you get in your hand is profit, gross profit. Or from the figure of sales, you minus the COGS. What you get in your hand is known as gross profit. Both mean the same thing. From the gross profit, you will minus something which is known as SG&A, selling, general and administrative expenses. So when you minus the selling, general and administrative expenses, which is briefly known as SG&A, so when you minus from the gross profit SG&A, what you get in your hand is known as EBITDA. EBITDA is also known as cash operating profit. Will somebody like to tell me as to why EBITDA is also known as cash operating profit? Anyone from you?
Depreciation is a non-cash expenses, so it includes all the. That's why it is like cash operating profit.
Okay. Anyone else? Why EBITDA is known as cash operating profit?
Because that represents the cash surplus of an entity.
Cash surplus from an entity. Okay, good.
For an entity.
Okay, very good. One more. Okay, friends, it's very simple. EBITDA is also known as cash operating profit. Why? Because what is EBITDA? EBITDA is the amount of cash which is coming in your hand from your operations, and that is why EBITDA is known as cash operating profit. So you can see here, so what you have here is your sales. From the sales, the material sales is 3,000. That means you are going to get 3,000 in your hand, and this 1,400 of material cost will be paid to your suppliers. So this money is not going to be available to you. Manufacturing expenses of 500 will also be paid to your people who have given you these services. So that is also not going to be available. So what is going to be available in your hand is 1100. That's your gross profit. Now from the 1100 also you will have 250 going towards your selling, general and administrative expenses. So after deducting all these operating expenses, cash operating expenses, what you are left with in your hand is 850, and that is the cash that you are getting in your hand from your operations. And that is why EBITDA is also known as cash operating profit. Cash operating profit. Now friends, remember, cash profit, this EBITDA is of immense importance for any business. EBITDA is of an immense importance of any business. अगर आप किसी भी बड़ी कंपनी के वो टाटाज हों, मित्तल्स हों, डालमियाज हों, अंबानीज हों, अडानीज हों, पूरी दुनिया में जितने भी बड़े बड़े बिजनेस हाउसेज हैं, अगर आप उनके सीईओज का और उनके चेयरमैन का जो मंथली मेल उनके एम्प्लॉइज को जाता है, अगर आप उठा के देखेंगे तो आपको ताज्जुब होगा कि कंसिस्टेंटली, यूनिफॉर्मली, all the mails that come every month or every quarter from the head of the organization to every employee in the organization, he would talk about EBITDA, 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 EBITDA. So my question to all of you is, how is that when Mr. Ratan Tata or when N. Chandra or when Mukesh Ambani or when Adani of the Adani Group, all these people, when they write a communication to their employees, why do they highlight EBITDA, EBITDA, EBITDA? Why do they say work on EBITDA, work on EBITDA, work on EBITDA? Would somebody like to answer this question from any one of you? What is so great about EBITDA?
EBITDA mainly represents the cash flow after the sales, like the cash in hand through which all the expenses has to be incurred. So the liquidity in hand, and this is also, we can say, the working capital. This works as a working capital as well.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So the EBITDA that represents the surplus the earned from operations. So ideally, this is the surplus based on which all future investments and all the repayments to the debt holders, and then the repayments to investors. So the return on investment to the investor. So all these things would be planned based on this metric only. So that's why it becomes very critical.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Now, let me ask you one more question to all of you. Is there any relationship between EBITDA, CapEx, and the borrowing capacity of a business? Is there any relationship between the CapEx, EBITDA, and the borrowing capacity of a business? Anyone? And remember, friends, there is a direct relationship between the EBITDA and the borrowing capacity and the capex of a business. Please remember, all over the world, anyone who sets up a business, he sets up a business not to remain stagnant. He sets up a business because he wants to grow. And if anyone has to grow, how can he grow? He can grow only by adding more assets. That means by incurring more capex. And please understand, if you want to incur more capex, obviously you cannot incur the capex out of air. So out of thin air. So you can incur, for incurring the capex, you will need money. And where can the money come from? The money can come from two sources. Number one, equity, and number two, debt. Number one, equity, and number two, debt. Please remember, unless and until your EBITDA is good, nobody will give you equity, nobody will give you debt. Nobody will give you equity, nobody will give you debt, because your EBITDA is not strong. So if you want to incur capex, you will have to borrow. And if you have to borrow, obviously you have to service. And if you have to service, where will you service it from? You can service your debt only from one source, and that source is your EBITDA. Please remember, for servicing your debt, you cannot borrow. For servicing your debt, you cannot raise equity. Nobody is going to give you equity for servicing the debt. So if you have to service the debt, if you have to borrow, if you have to incur capex, you may have to borrow. If you have to borrow, you should have the capability to service that debt, and that capability of serving the debt will come from your EBITDA. Will come from your EBITDA, and that is the significance of the EBITDA, and that is the reason why across the globe, all the top executives across the globe of all companies, irrespective of geographies, will always highlight on EBITDA, 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 EBITDA. It means what? It means, please pay attention, it also means EBITDA is lifeline of a business. EBITDA is also lifeline of a business. Lifeline of a business. अगर एक कंपनी की EBITDA स्ट्रांग है, उस कंपनी की का लाइफ लॉन्ग है. अगर एक कंपनी की EBITDA स्ट्रांग है, इसका मतलब उस कंपनी की लाइफ लॉन्ग है. और अगर एक कंपनी की EBITDA वीक है या नेगेटिव है, you can be rest assured that this company is going to go to NCLT sooner than later. And number 3, the third reason as to why EBITDA is important, and please remember, because all of us are going to be the evaluation professional, the third reason as to why EBITDA is important, and that is because EBITDA is used globally as a very frequently used valuation multiple. So across the globe, valuations of the companies are also decided based on the EBITDA multiple. So 10 times of the EBITDA is the value of the business, 20 times of the EBITDA is value of the business, 25 times of the EBITDA is value of the business. Now this is how it is done across the globe, across the industries. And why is that so? And please समझ के लीजिए, सुन के लीजिए, क्यों EBITDA multiple को valuation का basis बनाते हैं. EBITDA multiple को valuation का basis इसलिए बनाते हैं because ultimately when you are wanting to own a business, ultimately when you are wanting to purchase a business, what is that you are interested in purchasing? Please pay attention. When you are trying to purchase a business, you are not interested in the land, you are not interested in the building, you are not interested in the plant and machinery. What you are interested in of that business is cash generating capacity. Is cash generating capacity, and the cash generating capacity is reflected from the EBITDA. So if the company's EBITDA is good, that company is going to get so much higher valuations. So this is the friends significance of EBITDA. Number 1, it is the lifeline of a business. Number 2, it has a direct linkage with the capex and the borrowing capacity of a company. And number 3, it also helps you to arrive at the business valuations, and that is your EBITDA. Now from the EBITDA, what you do? From the EBITDA you will minus the depreciation and the amortization, and we all understand what is depreciation, we all understand what is amortization. So आपने EBITDA में से आप depreciation को minus करेंगे और आप amortization के figure को minus करेंगे. अब आपके हाथ में क्या बचा? That is known as EBIT, earning before interest and tax. Now EBIT is also known as operating profit. Please remember, EBITDA is known as cash operating profit. EBIT is known as operating profit because EBIT figure is adjusted. EBIT figure is arrived at after deducting depreciation and amortization, which are non-cash expenses. So that's your EBIT, operating profit. Now from the EBIT, what you do? You minus the finance cost. We all understand what is the finance cost, and the finance cost minus करेंगे. What is left in our hand is EBT, earning before tax. And now what do we do with the earning before tax? From the earning before tax, we will minus the amount of taxes that the company has to pay, and what you get in your hand is known as EAT, earning after tax. Now please remember why EAT is called as EAT. EAT is eat, और ईट का मतलब ये है कि अगर ये फिगर आपकी कंपनी का पॉजिटिव है, then you can eat and not otherwise. So that is your EAT, earning after tax. EAT is also known as profit after tax. It is also known as bottom line. It is also known as net income. It is also known as net profit. These are all same name for the same thing, and that is earning after tax. So this is what we need to understand in the beginning to be able to analyze profitability of a business from the perspective of sales. So if there is any question, please let me have your question before we look at as to how to do the profitability analysis using the sales. All of you.